Imagine going into retirement. You're so excited, sailing off to the next chapter of your life, and then you get a notice that your pension is 30% less than you expected, and that's going to be there for the rest of your life. You want to avoid mistakes like that? Then stay tuned for this FERS Federal Fact Check. Hi, I'm Micah. We have a great question from Jeanne. In fact, this is something that I run across a lot when I'm working with federal employees. It's a critical mistake that happens time and time again when federal employees are calculating their pension. Jeanne writes in and she says she started work with the federal government under the NAF system. Then she moved to the GS. And when she moved over, they said, don't worry, all of your time counts for retirement. Well, now she's learning more about her benefits. She's going through and looking at things. She realizes about 30% of her time working as a federal employee did not count towards retirement. What does that mean? She's got dramatically less service than she thought she did, and she might even have to work longer in order to be eligible to retire. So how do you make sure this doesn't happen to you? First thing, we got to understand, how do you calculate your federal pension? That really is the big thing. Now, it's a simple formula, but we got to break it down to a couple different steps. So you're always going to start off with your years of service times a percent times your high 3. Your high is 36 consecutive months of pay. That's the formula for creating, for calculating, what your pension's going to be. Now the high 3, your high is 36 months of pay. Generally it's your last 3 years. Doesn't always have to be, but a lot of times that's the way it runs down. The percentage is pretty easy as well. It's normally for FERS 1%. It could be 1.1% if you're 62 and retiring with more than 20 years of credible service for retirement. But then we get this question right here, years. This is years of creditable service eligible for retirement. What does that mean? Basically, now there's exceptions about every rule, but basically what this means, this is time that you are paying into the federal retirement system. You are having a deduction from your paycheck. You know, that FERS contribution was going out, was paying into the retirement system. The way I like to check this is on your SF50, your standard form 50, your notification of personnel action that you get at least one a year, maybe more. Pro tip, I want you to have every single SF50 you were ever issued in your personal possession, right? Not on a government computer, because once you leave, you may not have access to that. I want you to download those. You don't got to print them. You can keep them digital as long as you have them. Yes, I know to some of you who are listening to this, Micah, not all of my SF50s are needed for retirement. Correct. You only need the right ones. But which ones are the right ones? That's why you want to get all of them, all right? Get all of your SF50s. Now, on those SF50s, what I'm looking for is I'm looking into box number 30 in that SF50, and I want to see what does it say. Now, this is currently, previous versions, it's in different boxes, but it's, are you paying into the retirement system? It could say a couple things. It could say FICA only. It could say FERS and FICA. It could say CSRS. These are all different things that could be on there. Really what I'm looking for is I'm looking to make sure it does not say FICA only. What FICA only means is that time more than likely does not count towards your retirement. Now you could be looking at your pay stub, and on your LES, leave an earnings statement, it says, hey, your SCD date, and it has when you first started. And that's fantastic, but your SCD is for computing leave only. In fact, if you look at your LES, it says SCD, open parentheses, leave, close parentheses, because it's not meant for retirement. You got to determine what your RSCD is. What is your retirement service computation date? Now, the best way to get that is not just have every single SF50 that you've been issued in your file, not just looking at those and saying, hey, let's make sure it says on here that I paid into the retirement system, I paid into the FERS retirement system. I would also go back and request a certified summary of federal service. Now, this is part of the retirement process, part of your retirement application, actually. Your HR fills it out, and it's an audit or a record of everything they view for your retirement. It's not what you think it is, it's what they think it is, and that's why I like this. Now, a lot of times when you go to request this, the HR is going to push back on you. Let's face it, they got a lot to do. They've been undertrained, and they're understaffed as well. I can understand that. So they're going to push back, and they say, you know what? We don't do this until it's time for you to retire. But if you look on that form, if you look at the top of it, under the Certified Summary of Federal Service, it says, why do you use this form? And it says to respond to an employee's request for a record of creditable service for retirement. That is exactly what we want. I want to see inside of here from the agency's perspective, every single place that you worked. Did you pay into the retirement system? Did you not pay into the retirement system? Did you have military time? Did you make a deposit for it? Did you not make a deposit for it? We gotta have these records. We gotta know what it is, because in order to calculate accurately what your pension's gonna be, we gotta know how much years of service that you have that counts towards retirement. This is one of those little details that can make a huge impact in your pension and for the rest of your life. So make sure you share this video. Send this out to other federal employees. We have some massive goals going on that we really want to increase the knowledge, the good information that's out there for federal employees to get information on their benefits. If you're not listening to our podcast yet, then where have you been? Jump on wherever you listen to your podcast app. It's the Plan Your Federal Retirement podcast. And until next time, happy planning.